operations as the security director or the operations guy, it sits there and it's not efficient.
Nail on the head, Chuck. So with the way we see it is that it's a mixture of technology, process, and people. And process is key there, especially as we get more and more into our customers' operations. We give them technology that can help them digitize their policies and their processes, and that guides how people interact with that technology. Right. And right there, by mixing technology, people, and process together, they're increasing more automation.
Now, I do surveys on the side. People call me up and go out to their business, spend a week out there, write a big report. One thing I find is there's a lot of technology installed at places that sits idle because the guy that could work it doesn't work there anymore. And they didn't train the new guy to work it. And they're literally spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on these things, and they're not being utilized. My question is this: are we getting to a place in the business where the technology has now surpassed user skills, right? The BlackBerry was pretty complicated when it came out for a guard, right? But now we have some pretty high-tech stuff. Some of this, let's say, operational efficiency or less than operational efficiency, driven by the fact that our client users aren't really able to get it going. I mean, you guys have the best interface in the business, super easy, right? But what is causing this lack, and how are you guys bringing that back so you become the co-operator, I guess is the way to say it?
Yeah, it's a good point. So one technology that I'd like to surface is our Genetec Mission Control product. Mission Control ultimately, beyond just presenting security information like alarm management, it'll guide the operator to neutralize that threat, guide the operator towards resolution, and also provide an audit trail as to how quickly or how well that operator performed during that resolution of that incident. So it's really a combination of people and technology. In this case, the technology is guiding the operator towards their standard operating procedures, and it's a case of processes being digitized in the machine, in the technology, and then human beings being guided by the policies that the end user has designed from the start.
Now, how is that happening? Is that efficient, the end user policies? Do you help people produce those? Because again, I'm a busy guy. I'm going to put this in to be more efficient. I don't have time to write the policies, but if you don't write the policies, it's not integrated in your operations. It's not working right.
Yeah, it's a very good point, and that's where we rely on our consulting community, the A&E community, to help guide customers towards defining what those policies are. In many cases, they may be up in someone's mind. It may just be through experience, right?
That's true,
as you mentioned. And what if that employee, that great security operator, takes off one day? They're sort of leaving with all of that experience on to neutralize those processes. Oftentimes, they're stored in binders, and they are not digitized in any form. So if you have a newer employee that's joining the GSOC, they're going to have to look through binders in order to understand, this incident just came up, how do I respond to it?
In this day and age, you're still finding this stuff in binders.
Correct.
I mean, you need a paper backup, right, for an emergency, but that's kind of the place to go initially is paper. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so one thing that I'd like to mention here to your viewers is that we have yet another product being added to our operations portfolio called Genetec Clear ID, and it's around the same thing of we have policies in terms of the governance of who has access to certain areas.
Okay.
So if I ask you a question of, let's say in a hypothetical example here, you want access to my IT room. We work in the same company. I'm the director of IT. I ultimately say who's allowed into my environment and what are the policies governing my area. Now, for you to gain access to my IT closet, you don't have access today. And the challenge here, the actual, what I'm underscoring is that in many organizations, you either have access to all secured areas or access to none of the secure areas.
Yeah, that's true.
It's too challenging to govern who has access where in a simple access control system, right? So that's where, if you want access to my IT closet, you're going to have to talk to the receptionist. Receptionist doesn't know the answer. He or she doesn't know who you are, right? So then he or she's going to reach out to me. Hopefully I pick up the phone. Hopefully I'm not on vacation. I'm going to provide my response. And the receptionist is going to call security and say, hey, security, could you update Chuck's access rights so that he can gain access to the IT room?
It can sometimes, I'm not kidding, it can take a week.
For sure.
Depending on what's going on. If it's an emergency, then you give it all access, and that's not safe either.
It's highly inefficient.
That's right.
Yeah. And what's more is that security might forget to remove that temporary access after the
Exactly.
fact.
That's
right?
what happens, right? Now you have everybody has access to everything. You got a mess.
And you're accumulating access as you make these requests. So with Genetec Clear ID, that process is simplified through a workflow within a portal. So instead of having to talk to the receptionist at all, you'd go into your Genetec Clear ID application. It's a web-based portal. You say, I want access to this location, this server room, from this time to that time, and for this reason. See, the reason, I stress the reason because traditionally there have never been a way to document why Chuck wanted access.
Right. No trail. Brilliant.
There's no trail. And then I'll get that email to say that Chuck requested access to this area. Do I want to accept or reject? If I accept, then you automatically get access, and the access control system is updated. You get the email confirming, and you can, as soon as you get that email, you could use your credential, your existing credential, to access that area. So we've eliminated the work that the receptionist has to do. Security's not involved, and I just get a simple email accept approving or rejecting your access request.
Genetec, brilliant, simple. When you use the word workflow, I know you know what you're talking about. That's what it is, and a lot of this stuff is not documented anymore. In an age when documentation should be the easiest thing we do.
Correct, especially in regulated markets where there's regulators that want to see your audit trails,
Exactly right. How come the log file's turned off? Well, there's too much data to be stored. I don't want to turn it back on. Unbelievable. Very good.
Good
Name
to be
and
on the
website
show again.
one more time.
Sorry, what was that?
Name and website one more time. For
Genetec.com.
And your name. We got to hear your name.
Derek Arcuri from Genetec.com.
Beautiful. Back in a minute here, GSX 2019, live from Chicago. Chuck Harold, SecurityGuideTV.com and ASISTV.org.